Monday. We're going to get into a talky thing here in a moment. Home children, we have a semi-formal dance coming up on Friday.
Michael.
It is a Michael. Camp info comes out on Thursday unless you are missing stuff, or if you are in single digit point-wise, I also have lost your stuff. So as long as you're not in single digits and you're not missing a library book or the blue sheet, you should be good to go. Which one it says here, missing library books. If you're missing those, then you have to stand starting tomorrow, and I've lost your camp stuff. Same thing with the blue sheet. Late grade did cost you B points. If you did not have blue sheet turned in and I said your name, it cost you the 3 B points. Get it turned in by Thursday, and then you can get your camp info, and you'll be good to go. So, grade-wise, I've had kids who still don't know how to find their B points when you go to look at Skyward, so I figured I would show you real quick. I mean, you can still come look at this if you want to, but when you go to Skyward and it pops up with this, if you don't know how to get to the actual individual class grades, then it gets a little confusing. So I figured I'd show you guys quickly. You hit the little thing that says grade book, and it brings you with all your grades. I'm assuming you can get to this point.
Yes.
If you can get to here, the next part's easy. If you did not know, you can hit whatever letter grade you have for a class, and that when you hit that button, it opens up with all of your individual assignments for that class. So if you hit that, it opens up all of the grades for my class. You just have to find the one that says behavior points and then come across. Here's where it gets tricky again. You're going to have 2 numbers. You want the one that says something out of 15. This is just a percentage, which does you no good, because if you have 36 B points, you technically have 240%. So those of you who have 50 or 100 B points, you're in 1,000%. Don't get excited and be like, I have 900 B points, oh my God! You don't, you're only at 60, it's just the way math works. Whatever it says out of 15, that's how you find your B points. Or again, you can just look over here.
I check real quick.
But I figured, we're getting ready to use your iPad, so you can go ahead and open it up and check.
I don't want to.
As soon as I got permission, I don't want to. Total teenager. On here, those of you who are on the thing, so Gavin, you got 10 B points added to what you had before. The other kids on there got the 5 B points. I did take a picture of that so I can put it up next year to help the kids. Since you guys kept asking me what was the best times, I kept a record of it. So next year when kids ask, I can show it to them and you get a chance to brag. Go you. And this is where, now if you look around, since we are done with Greek mythology, I have taken down all of the posters and stuff like that, which apparently makes my room look empty, even though I think I have more stuff on my walls than any 3 teachers combined, but whatever.
Sure.
Alright, then, test. So I went through and looked at it spits out the breakdown after everyone took the test. Compared to last year, you guys actually did better. It was only by a small amount, but it was better. It was a couple percentage points higher than my classes last year.
Mr. Brovia.
James.
I got 100%.
Actually, I think this class had the most 100%. I can guarantee this class had the most 100% of all of my classes. I think I had more kids get a perfect score in this class than my other classes combined. So either you guys are smart or you learned how to really cheat well. Whichever one, go you guys. So on here, overall, I will tell you, I have not changed how I write my questions all year. I've kept my question writing the same. Beginning of the year, y'all complained a lot about my quizzes and how well you were doing on them, and the fact that typically, whenever I would go through and we look at how many questions you guys had under 70% as a class average, it was about half of each quiz you guys would average not doing well, because I required you to do things like read and think and not just have to rely on basic information. This test, I went back and looked at it on a 35 question test. There were only 3 questions that we averaged really low on. The beginning of the year, that first short stories one, it was on a 35 question test. You guys were at 15 questions. So, way to go, you guys. And then I decided to see how many questions did you guys average over 90%, meaning where pretty much every kid knew the question. So, to you guys, out of 35 questions, how many do you think, I had 100 kids take my regular test. How many do you guys think out of 100 kids, almost every kid got the question right?
17.
21.
46.
18.
20.
46.
28.
21.
46.
I heard, we'll stick 17, that seems to be out in the middle.
That's what I said.
So we'll go 17. Do you guys think, if you would say it was higher than 17, you can go up. If you go, we ain't that smart, you can go a little lower than 17.
One more.
And we'll
This
go
like
with
this test that we just took at the beginning.
the one we just took. And 14.
I said 15.
So not bad. But again, beginning of the year, it was like 3. So the fact that we're up to that high, whether you like it or not, you guys are learning. I know you guys like to complain a lot, but it's paying off, and you guys are adjusting to how I write things, and y'all have gotten smarter. I mean, it only took 6.5 years, 6.5 more years. You guys may actually be smart. So we'll see what happens.
Buckaroo.
No, they'll be like 13th grade.
We're freshmen.
So now that we are done with Greek mythology, we're moving into our last things. Hi, Dane.
Can I go take this phone? It's from my dad.
Yeah, that's all. So with this one, as we're getting into it, so we read a book previously, this one. And so this is the one we read way back in like October, I think is when we read this one. So with this book, I told you someone died. Remember who died?
Joey.
No.
What's his name? Like Kaysen or?
Close.
The parents. The
Keith.
parents.
No.
I guess the parents did. They died before the book started.
What's his name?
That was my question.
No.
It does end with Ison.
Tyson.
There you go.
Tyson McGaw.
But what was your guys' complaint about his death?
He
The fact that they brought him back to life, which you guys got all whiny and complainy about.
Ooh.
So the one we're moving to now, which I saved till later in the year, because it's a bit more adulty. Not one, not 2, 3 characters die in this book. And they are not little deaths, they are like main character deaths. One of them, and this is not spoilers because you won't see it coming, but I can tell you now, one of them gets stabbed to death, one gets shot to death, and one gets burned to death. And so there are major things that happen in this particular story. Yes, Jordan. Yes, Jordan. Yes, I'm well aware. So with this book that we'll be getting into here in a moment, one, I have spent this year trying to earn your trust as a teacher. What I mean by earning your trust is the fact that I've tried to show you that my goal as a teacher is to basically not give you crap work. I try not to pick stories I think are boring. I try not to give you homework I think is pointless. It all adds up to these last 2 books that we are going to read. And that's it. We have 2 books left, and then you're done with me. And that's all we have left. We're going to read The Outsiders, and then 1 other book, and then we get to the end of the year where I tell stories, and then we're done.
You got arrested 3 times.
I got arrested. I did not go to prison. There's a difference. And so,
He
yes.
stole.
With Outsiders, I am well aware
I know, my
that
sister told me.
many of you guys do not like reading, and you have verbally expressed that you don't like reading. With this one, my asking of you is, if I have at all earned your trust this year, try reading a little bit of this book. I will still read most of it to you, because 1, I appreciate your laziness. 2, I like reading. 3, I like interacting with you guys. That's why I teach. But I worry about you guys getting to high school, because a lot of the high school teachers are complaining that there are kids coming in who can't read, and they're failing out at the high school. And the drawback to liking you is I don't want you to fail out at the high school. So that's why I try to find books that I think you'll find somewhat interesting. This book, which deals with a bunch of kids dying and getting into fights, I think one you'll find interesting. So that's what we're going to get into. So this is where the homework comes in, although you should be able to get it done before you leave, because technically it's due by 4:15 today, because I don't want you to take it home. I want you to get it done now. So open up iPad and we'll help you get it done now. All 5 sentences of it. I know.
Samson.
I'm not mad. Why are you doing it? It's not.
Like,
Can I go get a drink?
Can I do it on my phone?
That's fine. Because I like how it's not a test, it's a homework assignment.
Hey guys, it's not a test.
That's why there's a giant arrow behind me.
Outside.
So when it pops up, it's going to bring up the 5 statements that I'm going to have you guys write about. And I'm going to walk you through and explain and do talky. So when you click on it, it brings you up with this. So it says 5 statements that I went through from the outsiders, and I tried to find the most controversial things in the book to see what you guys agree or disagree with. And so let's take a look. Magnify it. There we go. So in book, one of the big complaints that the main character has is he feels his school only cares about the rich, popular white kids at his school. And that's the only people that the teachers care about and the only people that like the principal cares about. So that's my first one. Do you agree the same thing here at our school? That popular kids are the most important kids to the school. Meaning that as far as teachers are concerned, or as far as Dr. Thorpe is concerned, we only focus on the popular kids. If you disagree, that's fine. But then tell me, who is it you think that we focus on if it's not the popular kids? And I want to see your thoughts there. 2, it's okay for a kid to get beat down if we know they are mean. Luckily, we have had very few fights this year. Last year, we had a ton of fights and some very angry, grumpy kids. In the book, there are a lot of fights in the book. And so it basically comes down to there is a part where there is a kid that they all think is mean and a bully, and they beat the crap out of him and send him to the hospital. And they go, it's okay because nobody likes him because he's mean. So my question to you is that okay? If there is a kid that everyone agrees is mean, is it okay for him to get beat up? 3, I would always help my best friend no matter what they asked me to do. And I'll give you an example on this one. So it's not exactly what's in the book, but it gives you a close idea. Let's say your best friend, BFFF, comes to you in the hallway with a bag and says, hey, can you please put this in your locker? And you go, sus? And they go, well, there's a weapon in the bag, and a teacher knows or has heard that they have the bag and that their locker is getting ready to get searched. If it's found on them, they are going to get suspended and arrested. But they know that no one will suspect you, so they ask you to hide the bag. But if you do get caught, you are going to get arrested. So the question is, do you support your best friend and take the thing from them, or do you abandon your best friend and let them possibly get arrested and kicked out of school? That becomes one of the big things in the book about what do you do when you get stuck in that position. So that's my question to you. If you were in that spot, what would you do? 4, as soon as you fight back, you are no longer bullied. A big part of the book is if you are getting bullied and then you fight back, you are no longer getting bullied. Now you're just in a fight. And they keep talking about the fact that it no longer counts as getting bullied if you fight back. So my question is, that makes sense to you, and do you agree that fighting back makes you no longer getting bullied? And then 5, kids can't change their social group. Do you guys know what a social group is? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever, dork, jocks. In the book, they make a big deal about once you're at a school and kids label you a thing, you're always that thing. So once kids think of you as a nerd, you can't change that. Or once they think of you as a skater, you can't change that. Or once you're emo, you can't change it. So is that a thing that you agree with, that now that you're at our school, moving forward, once you get labeled as a thing, is it impossible to change? So don't submit it yet, because I want you guys to have access to it so that we can go through and talk about them. But just give me a sentence responding so we can do talky thing. I'm going to pause this, home children. I'm going to pause and we'll come back to it because I'm going to read book while they're going through and doing a thing. I'll never recover from it.
That was a good one.
Alright. Totes good.
Wine good.
Alright. So before we go over what you guys put down, mythology. I become a better teacher by listening to kids' opinions. So whenever we finish major units, I'd like to ask you guys. So as far as mythology went, overall, enjoy, good, bad?
Good. I liked it.
I like the stories.
Alright. So then, to go along with that, is there anything you think I should change that you thought was...
You should make up your own.
You should make that harder.
make that harder?
Yeah. Make
That's
that
pretty hard. Yeah.
15 seconds.
So
Yeah,
you
James
can
got
make-
17.
so you can
I mean,
make
I'm happy too, but I thought that was pretty hard. We only had a handful of kids even try it, so I agree. Dane?
You can make like a different one where there's like 6 more dogs that are more a little bit more probably like per-
Could be, but part of it is I try to focus on just the Olympians as the main ones, but yeah, I like that idea
That's the
too.
gods that you go
Was there anything especially you enjoyed that you want to make sure I keep?
That.
So that was a new thing I've done, so then I'll definitely keep that one. So, you say that's mid?
Yes.
Wow.
You should keep
What?
I'll see what I can do.
Apollo.
Did you really let that slide?
You should keep Apollo.
Like, get your get back.
Weren't you the one that said Apollo to
Yeah,
the person?
that's why I said it.
Uh-huh. Alright. And then was there anything in particular you guys hated or definitely did not want me to do?
You should tell them that I said Apollo instead of Athena.
I mean, in the past, Hades is the one that they've all been all like, he's the hot one.
Hades?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Kids are weird.
What the?
I know. What the flippy doodle? Flippy doodle.
Flip.
I was gonna say that. Don't put
So,
words in
your 5 responses. So I just want to go through first and just see agree or disagree with each one, and then I want to see your actual opinions. So the first one, popular kids are the most important kids to the school. How do you guys say agree, and that is definitely how it feels at our school?
Cap.
Oh,
Do you guys disagree and say that is not how it feels?
disagree.
Alright. 2, it's okay for a kid to get beat down if we know they are mean.
Yes.
Agreed?
Yeah. I
No.
agree.
I agree.
Disagree.
Oh, dude, that's what's
Disagree.
Alright.
Disagree. I agree.
3, I would always help my best friend no matter what they asked me to do.
Agree.
Agree?
Agreed.
I'm not ruining my future.
Let's back up. By a show of hands, agree? Disagree? Alright, a bit more visuals makes it easier.
Crazy, right?
4, as soon as you fight back, you are no longer bullied. Agree? By
No,
hand?
that's very false.
Alright, disagree. Then, interesting, alright? 5, kids can't change their social group. Once you're a thing, you're always a thing. Agree?
Wait, it's like, it depends.
Alright.
Well, yeah,
Really?
you can change it for yourself, but everybody's gonna see you as that one.
Yeah.
Ooh, hold on to that. That's a good comment. I'm going to come back to it. So then, fully disagree. Alright.
In the middle?
Kinda. Yeah, in the middle.
Mid? So then, back to number 1. So, those of you who disagreed with it, do you feel there is a group of kids that are the ones that are focused on more than others, or is it spread and equal? James?
I think the kids that need more help get more attention.
Okay. Is that good, bad, or the way it should be, or?
That's probably the way it should be.
Alright. I could dig that one. So, I mean, as a teacher, that makes me happy that you're not like picking out one group that you guys feel is liked better than others. Like in my classroom, I'll be honest, I have favorites in all of my classes. You have to. It's part of being a human. You guys have favorite teachers. Teachers will have favorite kids. But I try to do my best to not show it very often. Where I try to pick on everyone equally, regardless of male, female, whether race, whether you're skater, emo, athletic kid, I try to pick on everybody as equally as I can in the classroom. But I don't know if that is how all classes are. And so I'm always interested to hear if there's like certain groups of kids that you guys feel get treated better than others. Apparently not, which makes me happy. In the book, that's definitely not the way it comes across. In the book, there is a group of kids that are seen as the better kids that everyone seems to like. And the main character is not in that group, so that's why he really does not like them. So,
Does he fight them?
yeah.
Oh,
A
big
wee
fights.
bit. Some, and there may be some big deaths that go along with that too.
Wait, they kill somebody?
Me? No, not again.
What?
That's why you.
This guy said he only got arrested.
You guys are best.
You just confessed.
2, it's okay for a kid to get beat down if we know they are mean.
Yeah.
Yep.
Interesting. So, why? Like, hang
Because
on.
they're mean.
So this was the thing that was brought up in my first period we talked about. They said, if a kid is only running their mouth and is only bullying other kids verbally, they should not get beat up. It is only if a kid is physically bullying other people, then they should. And I was like, oh, that was.
No, because if
Yeah.
you're like mean to someone, like really mean to someone, like you like Like they can do like you hit someone, then you're gonna keep doing it.
Okay.
Like if you don't get told to stop, like if you don't get something, it's not good. Well, I don't know how to explain it. Like if you're like it's like if you don't get something done to you, then you won't know how it feels.
Okay, I can see that.
You need to keep getting it.
If someone is like mean to you like verbally, then you're gonna like want to like you're gonna think like you're not good enough or something.
Okay.
And you're gonna be thinking like all these like things, like in your head. But even though they didn't like harm you, like physically.
It makes your own self-doubt starts to attack you, kind of thing. Interesting. Drew?
I'm trying to say if you beat him up, then aren't you you're just as bad as he is.
And that becomes part of the argument that goes, which goes along with, do you think it would change the bully's behavior?
Yeah.
It depends. It depends.
If
on
you
how
beat
bad
them
it
up
is.
bad,
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's part of what goes into is the
like Jaden.
because oddly enough, this was a conversation I had with my own parents yesterday. We got together and talked for Easter, and my younger brother, who's 2 years younger than me, got bullied like horribly in elementary school. And it was when I had gone on to junior high, and he was still in elementary, so like I wasn't there to protect younger brother. And I remember like we kept trying to intervene as far as like parents and family, but eventually came down to like telling my brother, it's like, you're just gonna have to beat the crap out of him. It's like one of those things like I remember my dad like sitting my brother down and being like, if it bothers you enough, the next time he comes at you, beat him up. And my brother did that. And I remember it was like on the way home, he got off the bus and the kids started like pushing him and talking trash. And I was like off the bus first, was walking out to meet my brother, and I came out there and he was just like wailing on a kid and like beating him. And I'm like, holy crap! And I'm like running out there, and the kid got up and he ran off. My brother had like blood on him, and he was like, I think it's done. And I was like, oh! But it actually did work. I mean, the kid stopped picking on him. Well, it's one of those things where I'm like, I'm not always sure that's the right answer, but it's there. I mean,
Yeah, it is.
end of the year when I tell stories, one of the stories I tell is me getting into a fight in junior high with the kid who bullied me. And so I'll be able to tell during that story whether
Did you
it
win?
made a difference.
Did you
You'll
win?
have to wait till the story.
No, well, you should.
It's his name.
You'll have to wait till
Yeah,
the
he
story.
definitely did. He was definitely.
So
I had the
it's,
I hate it.
I will say in the book we're going to read, it does not make things better. When they end up fighting back, all it does is make the bully's friends start being worse, if that makes sense. And so that becomes like it doesn't solve the problem, it just makes their problem worse.
What?
All right, so 3. I would always help my best friend no matter what they asked me to do. So it's interesting that several of you guys are willing to cut a best friend loose over something like this.
Well, like it depends.
Callan.
And we submitted now.
It does.
Yeah, if you want to say.
I can I
All right,
say?
James.
Like it depends how bad it is. Like
It's the thing that would get, so, because I had a kid ask earlier, like, cheating off a test. I'm like, as a teacher, that's bad.
I
But
would
that's
help-
not, like,
I would-
arrest worthy.
I would help my friend if it's something like that. But
No,
like,
we're
if
talking
it,
the thing that would
if
get
it
you
comes
arrested.
down to like somebody getting arrested, I don't know how far I would go into that. I would help them. So I would try to help them as much as I can. But like,
And,
if they do something really bad, I don't know what I would be able to do.
it's a tough choice to make. I think anyone, it's one thing to think you would do a thing until you're put in that position. And then it becomes a completely different one. Plus, like in the book and with here, if it's a split-second decision, it's much tougher. Like, you have time to sit here and think and write about it. But if it's your friend who's coming up to you and they have tears in their eyes and they're looking freaked out and they're pushing a thing into your chest going, please help me, and like, if not, I get suspended, it'd be tough. You're like, no, man, sucks to be you. I'm out. And then you just like walk away, they're like, and you just walk away. That's going to be a lot tougher than like when you're here saying it. And so, yeah.
Would you help them?
Let me talk to Drinky and I'll answer. Drinky?
Do you remember when I was sick and Eden called me because I couldn't come here?
Uh-huh.
Eden's asking me to call her so she can listen to the class.
Well, the class is over, so, yeah.
Well,
Well,
can I just do it?
sure. Just keep it quiet.
Just do one.
Happy day. So, would I do it? Trying to think if I had an actual example of it happening to me when I was in high school. Nothing that pops up that I can think of, but I don't think I would have.
Would you go with what
I
I
was
said?
especially in junior high, I was too much of a goody-goody kid. There's no way I would have in junior high.
Was
High
you?
school, I may have. I was a slightly different person by the
Can I
time
put
I
my
got
stuff
to
up
high
here?
school. Yeah. tomorrow we are going to get into the actual reading and getting into the book. I will read with you guys most of this week. And then eventually we'll get to a part coming up where you guys will get a chance to read
Wait,
and stuff
we
like
didn't do
that.
the last one.
No, we kind of ran out of time. Oh, you do get your own copy of the book. Unlike with
stand up.
Shadow Club, where you guys had to give the book back to me. On this one, I am giving you your own copy that you get to keep. Well, you already bought this one, so it's up to you.
Okay.
At the beginning of the year, it's part of your guys' fees. So, if you want to bring your
Can I get a
sister's
piece?
book and just be like,
Can I
all
get a
like,
piece?
yay, yay.
Can I get a piece? Can I get a piece?
Yeah, share with them.
You want one?